Alright, hello everybody, happy 3rd of December. That video that I just threw away, that took place almost 8 years ago, or over 8 years ago in fact today. And it's been a long wait, but we should finally have the game arrive in less than a week. So today's video is gonna be a combat analysis of Cyberpunk 2077. And we're gonna dive into a video of a boss battle that was captured I think 1 year ago that you can find on Cyberpunk's official YouTube page. I'll link it down in the description if you want to see the whole thing. And we're gonna basically take a look at the different options you have to how you want to approach combat, and mainly the two main options, which is going to be a strong solo build and the Netrunner build. Strong solo, think something like Terminator. Netrunner, think more Assassin's Creed with Hackerman. So let's jump into the footage and break it down.
The character creation in Cyberpunk 2077 is the kind you'd expect from a full-fledged RPG. You start by choosing your past, important because this unlocks special options at important story junctures. You also fully customize your character using a deep customization system that spans not only your look and style, but also your abilities.
Okay, so as you can already notice, this guy is gonna do a lot of the work for me, but I'll try to point out some things that you might still miss. So first of all, here he's talking about an attribute system similar to any RPG really, and that's also gonna affect how you play the game. So you're gonna have your base attribute points and then your skills on top of that, just like you would expect from an RPG.
Cyberpunk 2077 does not feature fixed classes. Instead, it has a fluid class system that allows players to mix and match a wide range of abilities to suit their playstyle.
And this part is interesting. So this is similar to how we saw in Witcher 3. You could go for certain builds that were more focused on mana or something like that, but you could also do a mix of something in between. And so these two playstyles that we're gonna see here in a short while, you're gonna be able to do something in between them as well, which is probably gonna be very fun. And I'm sure you can find different ways to synergize these builds as well. So let's check it out.
You can create a strong solo character, a skilled Netrunner, or any other hybrid class you can imagine. Let's see how a solo play style in Cyberpunk 2077 might work. Solos prefer a direct approach. They use guns and might to get things done. So let's wreak some havoc. With our enhanced strength, we can strip this turret of its weapons and give the animals a taste of their own medicine. This is how a player investing in solo abilities might live out their Terminator power fantasy.
Yeah, so this is where I got the Terminator reference from, and as you can see, it's very powerful, but it's mostly focused on strength, as we will see, and the ability to use heavy weapons and use your strength in a number of ways. We'll see that now.
Enhanced strength lets us force open doors, or grab enemies to use as human shields.
So here we also see the takedown or non-lethal takedown, which you can do, which again, this reminds me very much of Deus Ex, where you also had different approaches to combat. You could do a lethal version or a non-lethal version, and this again is very similar.
We also gain access to powerful melee combat cyberware. So even someone as fast and strong as Sasquatch, the leader of this group of animals, is not impossible to beat for a solo. But Sasquatch has a different game plan. She's out to jack in and hack us. Let's see how this plays out.
Ready for some fun? Proceed. What's going on?
And this is a trope we've seen before in the gameplay trailer I showed yesterday, the trailer highlights from combat. and that is that bosses usually have their weak points on their back. That was the same with the boss yesterday, so hopefully that's not a pattern that repeats too often, because that could be quite boring.
It's our choice if we want to finish her off or spare her. You're Cyberpunk, your rules.
So now we jump into the more sneaky approach, Assassin's Creed Hackerman approach, as I talked about earlier.
If you'd rather sneak around, hide, and strike from the shadows, no problem. Just develop your net running skills to get around obstacles or hack into enemy tech to have it do the dirty work for you.
Oh, that would... Oh, that's brutal. Oh, oh, that's like... oh.
Net running abilities mean hacking skills that let us use our cyber deck to breach access points. For this, we fill the buffer of our cyber deck with a string of instructions represented by these letters and numbers. Matching the instructions for basic access grants us control of devices connected to this network. The more instructions we match, the more control we gain over elements in the network.
Okay, so the hacking. The hacking seems quite interesting to me. One question that immediately comes to my mind is, why wouldn't you just match up everything every time, since that gives you access to everything? I think it's gonna be relating to your hacker sort of skill set, and maybe you only can match up a certain amount. Maybe it takes a certain amount of points each time you hack. Not each time you hack, but like each hack is probably going to be different, so that if you hack a terminal, you can spec out so you can put 1 point into matching it up, or 2 points into it, or up to 4 maybe, and then you get the whole system. But if you're not as advanced, then you maybe can only hack 1 or 2 points of entry, and then you only get a limited access to the system. I guess that's my guess of how that's going to work. Okay, but this relates to the Netrunner build.
We can hack our way through in numerous ways. A quick hack may grant us control of the security camera. Another one should let us tweak the difficulty of the training bot to create a distraction.
So this is very like, what's the game by Ubisoft? Watch Dogs. This is very Watch Dogs-esque kind of vibe to the hacking now, I feel.
With our nanowire, we can even hack this guy's implants from a distance.
That's cool.
Almost everything is connected to a local network. And that means it can be hacked.
So as you can see, there's gonna be a lot of options with the hacking.
Which brings us back to cyberspace. You don't get to do anything in the net unnoticed. There's always someone watching. It could be corpos, or even worse, it could be Netwatch. And that is exactly the case here.
Who is they? Netwatch. They're always out to fuck us.
Netwatch and the Voodoo Boys are like fire and ice. The first of these wants to maintain the old order and protect people from AI anarchy originating from beyond the Black Wall. The Voodoo Boys want to establish contact with the free AIs. They believe this will enable their boundless expansion on the net and grant them the upper hand over Netwatch. Netwatch sees this as the end of the world. Both are right.
Whoa, hey, easy.
How you deal with the Netwatch agent is entirely up to you. Do we side with the gang? Choosing to be on Netwatch's bad side is never wise. But can we really trust the Voodoo Boys?
Okay, so this isn't really part of combat, but it was too good to, like, and it's kind of relates, and it's too good to leave out, I think, of this video. So here you can see that the direct approach is just go in, take out the boss, side with the Voodoo Boys, done deal. But maybe if you don't side with the gang and side with these Netwatch guys instead, or not maybe, if you do that, then something completely different is going to happen, so then you don't fight the boss maybe in the first place. Or maybe some other boss, or maybe you just do something else. So that's always interesting to see how many options. Only worry I have with that, if you have too many options in a game generally, it usually backfires on the story in a real way. So you have to be careful that you still can lead it back to the central story, or you're gonna be stuck with like a binary decision turns into too many decisions sort of issue, where it's impossible to write that many stories that are actually any good. So that's a problem I've seen before, that you can't, if you have to, it's hard alone to write one good story. It's almost impossible to write like 100 good stories, and the way to usually fix that is that you write one good story or one great story and like several good stories that relate to or branch out from the great story but then lead back to the great story. Yeah, but let's watch this to the end.
You set me up!
As you can see, we have many possible options, but in each case, we take a risk.
Think I'll just stick to my plan.
That didn't work out well. In the world of Cyberpunk, few things go as planned. And that was just a glimpse of how complex the branching storyline in Cyberpunk 2077 can get. Every decision you make will have consequences. Your choices will shape how the world reacts to you and affect your relationships with those around you. One of those relationships is special. Ever heard of Johnny Silverhand? A rebel rocker boy who will be your companion throughout your adventure in Night City?
Come on, really think they give a rat's dick how you look?
Like everyone in Cyberpunk 2077, he has his own agenda. You'll decide if he'll be your ally or your enemy. And that chip in your head, the one thanks to which Johnny lives inside your mind, well, that's a story for another time.
So that was the in-depth look at combat for this game, and also some things relating to the story and the different options we have in the story and how we choose to approach different situations. So hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to like and maybe subscribe, and also let us know if you're excited about this game in the comment section down below. Look forward to seeing you in Cyberpunk. See you there.